I'm happy to be joined by Hanna Myshko, Regional Director for the Gulf States, Ukraine, and Moldova as StrategEast, the policy organization that's been at the forefront of digital and economic transformation across Eastern Europe. Recently, they partnered with RECONOMY, which is funded by Sweden and led by Helvetas, to launch the AI Policy Dialogue Initiative, sparking important conversations on responsible and inclusive artificial intelligence in Armenia, Georgia, Moldova, and Ukraine. We'll explore some of the initiative's key insights, challenges, and what's next for the region's AI future. Let's dive in. Hanna, let's start at the beginning. What inspired StrategEast to launch this initiative, and why really focus on AI right now in these four countries?
Thank you, Sabin. Thank you very much for having me here. I'm really happy to be part of this discussion because I honestly think that it is very much important to discuss this topic right now and also act upon this discussion. As StrategEast, and as you mentioned, we are an international development institution, and basically we are focused on developing digital economies in Caucasus, Ukraine, Moldova, and Central Asia. That's the focus regions for us. Mm-hmm. And with this particular initiative, we've been talking a lot about how AI holds an exceptional potential to change the economic development, to make this economic development inclusive and sustainable. But at the same time, that this particular technology as emerging technology holds an enormous potential for threats and challenges. And at the same time, as we see from our previous projects and initiatives and what we see in the region, these four countries, but also other countries in this region, but focusing on four, sometimes or often find themselves overlooked when it comes to the international discussions on these specific areas like emerging technologies, like digital economies and innovation, and rarely sharing their lessons learned, their experience, even though right now these specific countries are giving a lot of innovations to the world and to the region, and at the same time kind of going through major digital transformations inside the country. So our idea behind the initiative was to help them to navigate the international frameworks and international ecosystem on AI, what's going on with OECD, UNESCO, EU, and all other actors who are developing the frameworks, but at the same time to understand their own realities and to adjust to their own realities of the level of innovation, of the level of technological ecosystem, readiness of regulation, and trying to match it and to do best to make their AI strategies as inclusive, as responsible as they can do. Basically, not only to help to develop their economies, but also to prevent the inequalities they might have when the AI will come fully to this particular region and to these particular countries. So we've tried to make this initiative and as inclusive as possible from our side, to invite international experts from big tech companies, but also from international organizations, and at the same time invite all stakeholders who are important within this discussion and implementation in the future when it comes to AI strategy and regulation, and of course AI adoption and use. So yeah, that's what basically was our inspiration behind it.
And from your perspective, what are the most pressing challenges these countries face in building AI ecosystems that are both responsible and inclusive?
From our workshops and roundtable discussions and one-on-one exchanges with different stakeholders, locally, we've gathered some of them, and I already mentioned some of them during answering the previous question, but basically, I would like to highlight several of them because we believe they're there should be focus around them. The first one is, I truly believe there is a lack of coordination between the different stakeholders in all four countries. Some of them has better coordination and multi-stakeholder dialogue. Some of them are still trying to build these working groups or proper forums to discuss AI strategy, because I truly believe that only inviting regulators and policymakers, along with the tech companies who are actually using and adopting AI, and also other companies who will be adopting AI because they need to and have to, basically, and also the expert society, and which is more important, educational institution to the table to discuss what's going to be next for our AI strategy, is huge and very much important, because that's how we can try to navigate the inequalities existing in the countries, in different countries, and these four in particular, within urban and rural areas, for example, on digital access, on lack of budgeting for this kind of initiatives. So basically only with these actors at the table they can discuss it. And I will mention also here the international development organizations as well, because they are those who might be a supporter for you to drive this change inside the country, even though they might be outsiders for your own country, giving you the expertise and knowledge. And also, I would like to mention here two more points. It's sometimes low regulatory readiness, specifically on some issues like data privacy, cybersecurity issues, transparency as well, because that's very much important when you're developing the new regulation, and basically, especially the regulation on emerging technology. And one more, and that's why I mentioned that much educational institutions. We see there is a need for larger programs on upskilling and reskilling of people and society overall, specifically on digital skills, including the major point on AI, because we see a lot of here and there some upskilling and reskilling programs from technological companies or from some institutions or private sector engagement or private universities, but at the same time there is a need for proper awareness campaign, and at the same time larger scale upskilling and reskilling programs. And that's where we see these kind of gaps for now to push forward, basically.
And each country is on its own journey. So can you give us a standout example that illustrates what's possible when governments, businesses, and civil society align around artificial intelligence?
Yeah, and I would like to start probably from Ukraine, because from these four countries, this country is pushing harder when it comes to AI in terms of regulation, but at the same time, innovation. We've seen already the white paper from Ukrainian government. We've seen already creation of specific AI sandboxes for startups to develop. We also saw some kind of AI Excellency Center, which is very much important to grasp the knowledge and understand how to navigate AI adoption and use. But for me, the best example also is that right now Ukraine is developing the AI strategy, and basically they invited all the experts, anyone who would like to share their opinion on what should be in this AI strategy and what are the risks, challenges, opportunities. They invite all of them to fill in the form. So they will look at it and then develop the strategy and adjust it. And that's how I see the engagement of different stakeholders to the table, even the society, basically just filling in the form, saying some opinions on using, for example, generative AI right now, and what are the challenges for them, because they feel that already. So that's on Ukraine. In Georgia, I would say that there is definitely a lot of great initiatives from educational institution like Business and Technology University. They are trying and pushing a lot towards awareness and also upskilling and reskilling and engaging different kind of stakeholders to the table. They've launched Women in AI, AI for Globe, and basically all those initiatives are trying to engage other stakeholders to share the knowledge about AI, but also to give their own experience and opinion on what's going on from their perspective when it comes to AI. In Moldova, I've been participating in an amazing event, AI and Big Data Summit, and that's also kind of a showing that they are trying to engage all stakeholders. We've seen international development institution, we've seen the government being there responsible for digital economy, we've seen the civil society like StrategEast and also other organizations who are helping them and supporting them on this journey, and also huge number of businesses, technological businesses, especially local businesses, who are willing to help the government to understand the technology and how to better use it and what should be the limits here. So these kind of forums we find very important ourselves, as we are also trying to do that with our StrategEast forum as well, where we're pushing towards the AI topic a lot, inviting all other stakeholders from different countries to discuss this. And last, I need to mention Georgia as well, because some time ago, to develop the digital economy and digital ecosystem, we've helped them and supported them, and they did a lot in making proper environment and proper regulation for this. They made very low tax specifically on tech, and that helped them a lot to develop digital economy. And right now this will be also a push towards developing the AI and helping them to develop the regulation as well. So we see that all these four countries are trying on their own way. Some of them are pushing towards the regulation, but still are very hesitant to push forward the full regulation on AI. But still, we see there are some kind of proper and positive developments here, while still we have some challenges. Of course, it's fine because they have a very unique socioeconomic and political challenges and developments in all four countries. So we need to also take it into account.
So you took a multi-stakeholder approach, right? So bringing together policymakers, educators, entrepreneurs, advocates. So what did this kind of collaboration reveal, and why is it so important for shaping AI policy?
Honestly, we are trying to apply this approach to any initiative we are trying to implement. Even at the stage of building and shaping the initiative, because we truly see the proper ecosystem development once all the actors are trying to discuss the challenges and opportunities and trying to find the middle ground for them. And that's why this particular initiative, which is around emerging technology, which is very quickly developing, and we don't know yet everything about the technology. So the engagement of different stakeholders from different areas is very much important to be on track, to understand what's going on when it comes to innovation itself, but at the same time to understand what we need from regulation perspective to make it visible, to make it efficient in the country, and specifically given the on-the-ground challenges and on-the-ground developments. That's why we've tried to have this multi-stakeholder approach as a core, and also balance it between the international lessons learned and frameworks, but at the same time this reality in practice in these four countries, and match it somehow. And we've seen actually a lot of requests from other stakeholders while we developing the initiative. During our roundtable discussions, they mentioned a lot that we need this kind of forums. We would like to have these forums to discuss, to understand what's going on in the world, but at the same time, what's going on in our own country when it comes to AI. Because not all of us engaged in some working groups, for example, or we are not engaged in some other technology development, which are the companies developing or using or adopting. So we've heard a lot this us, and that's why we are trying to, even now, trying to have this dialogue further. Even though we are at our final stage of the project, we see a lot of value in this to keep this dialogue alive, to bring the proper policy recommendations as well, because it's very much important to have every voice you have to make this as a middle ground, as a best experience for them. But also because we see great value in this even from other countries. We've developed the report on Central Asian Caucasus and the impact of AI for this particular region overall. And here also our focus was Armenia and Georgia, which is part of our AI policy dialogue initiative. And basically this initiative inspired us a lot to do this report, because we've seen how much we need to research and how much we need to understand about these countries and about this technology in these countries. And even from this report, there is clear that this particular dialogue is very much needed. That was very important for us also to check for ourselves when we were developing the initiative.
And finally, Hanna, if you had just 30 seconds with a policymaker or business leader in the region, what's one concrete action they should take today to build on the momentum from this initiative?
I would say that for businesses, because they are very much important, I would say that they need to develop their own AI code of practices, a code of conduct on how to use AI and not misuse AI internally in business, and also to be prepared for the further regulation. And at the same time, for policymakers, I would suggest them to create proper working groups specifically on developing the AI regulation and inviting as much voices and opinions as they can, so to develop this proper AI strategy and also creating proper AI sandboxes to test these regulations, to test the innovation, so they are ready to be public and used by society. And if I may, for all of them, reskill and upskilling, because that's very much important. That's how we avoid inequality, and that's how we try and engage everyone basically into this digital future, or even digital now, because basically sometimes we are wasting time, but we really need to educate people on this specific digital skills right now and further.
Thank you very much, Hanna, for joining Inclusive Plug and for sharing these really valuable insights. It's clear that responsible artificial intelligence isn't just a tech issue. It's a governance, inclusion, and development issue. Thank you once again.
Thank you.